So adding a dedicated sound system should improve any home theatre setup. On that we should agree. Whether it's a whole 7-channel Dolby Atmos surround setup or if it's just a soundbar. Whatever it is, it's going to level up your sound from just the TV. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Sony's HT-SD35. This soundbar is almost identical to Sony's HT-S350. So if you are looking at either of those, this video should be helpful. There is one key difference which I'll get onto later in the video. So this soundbar nestles in nicely under the £200 mark, sitting at £170. And this is very good, especially considering it has a dedicated subwoofer in it. It's a 2.1 channel soundbar. This means it has 2 dedicated channels, left and right, and then a dedicated bass channel. That's coming from this bad boy. And ultimately, the overall sound experience is pretty good. Oh Sam, this looks amazing, but what does it sound like? Well, first, let's set it up. So the box is in this L shape and it's got a useful little handle here so it makes it easy to carry around. All in all, it's not too heavy. It's 14 kilograms including the box. Now opening the box, we are greeted to the subwoofer and the soundbar along this long bit here. It is important to note that power cables are attached to the soundbar and to the sub. You can't remove them, and the soundbar and sub both have individual power supplies. So it will take up an extra socket. However, you can be a bit more flexible regarding the positioning because the subwoofer connects to the soundbar wirelessly. The soundbar has a plastic top with a leather-like effect, so it does look pretty smart. Both the soundbar and the subwoofer have a punched metal mesh over the front, and that also looks and feels very premium. On the top of the bar, we have some touch controls for volume and Bluetooth. On the back of the soundbar, we only have 2 ports. One HDMI and one optical audio. There are also a couple of holes for wall mounting, which is a really nice inclusion. The only other things we get in the box are some manuals and guides, the remote, and an optical audio cable. We don't get a HDMI cable. So if you are planning on connecting this via HDMI ARC, then you will need to source that yourself. After that, the setup is pretty simple and sort of looks after itself. All you need to do is plug the soundbar into the TV, plug both the soundbar and the subwoofer into power, and switch on your TV. That should be it. The subwoofer will automatically connect wirelessly to the soundbar. Now this also kind of brings up the only difference between the SD35 and the S350, and that is the S350 can connect to the TV wirelessly. So I will include links to both of those soundbars in the description, so if it is a feature that you'd be after, then you can go ahead and look at that one. But if you are interested, follow those links, it does support the channel. So we're up and running. What now? What's it sound like? Well, before breaking down how it sounds, it is worth going over what this soundbar can do and what some of the modes are. Firstly, it does support Bluetooth 5.0. You can easily add Bluetooth devices to the soundbar. You just have to press the Bluetooth button on top of the soundbar or on the remote and then add it from whatever device you're planning to connect. And this does work really well, especially for something like a party. Most people's speaker systems in their houses tend to be on the small side. It's very rare someone will have a subwoofer of this size. So actually, if you do have this soundbar, you can use this as your main sound system in the house, and it will give you a really great full punchy sound for playing music in the home. Now there are a few equalizer modes. Unfortunately, we don't get a fully customizable EQ, but the modes are pretty good. We have a music mode, a cinema mode, a news mode, a voice mode, a game mode, a sports mode, and a standard mode. Now it is quite complicated and all of them are slightly different, so switching between them depending on what you're watching all the time is going to be a massive faff. Luckily, Sony has your back and they've also included an auto sound mode. This should automatically detect what is being played through the soundbar and then be able to optimize that for whoever's listening. What is nice is that there is also a night mode. Now, night mode tones down a lot of the bass frequencies without fully stripping the sound of its fullness. It's designed so that you can watch movies when the kids are asleep and they don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking that it's World War III. Now, as much as you can't fully customize the EQ, you can control the subwoofer from the remote. And that is a nice touch because a lot of soundbars in this sort of price bracket don't offer that flexibility. Sam, what does it sound like? What does it sound like? Yeah, it sounds good. Look, so I've set up a headphone test so that you can actually hear it and decide what you think. Now, this isn't going to be that comparable to, let's say, sitting in the room and experiencing it, but it will give you a good idea of things like the clarity of the sound. So have a listen and comment down below what you think. So I personally would say the sound is very good. I do think it misses out a little bit on some of the mid-tones, but the crispness of the high frequencies versus the standalone bass, I think, make this a winner. One of the great differences between this and a standalone soundbar is the fact you have that dedicated subwoofer. With a soundbar, what can happen is the bass frequencies can get a bit mushed in with some of the rest of the sound. And as much as they do sound good, you just don't get that clearness that you get with a dedicated system. With an all-in-one soundbar, you're just mushing it in with all the other sound, whereas separating it offers that crisp clearness and that precision that you don't get on the all-in-one bar. Now, for a 2.1 sound system, this actually is very good. Obviously you don't get some of the high-end features like Dolby Atmos, and unfortunately we can't add more speakers to this. If you were looking at potentially getting this and upgrading it into a 5.1 or a 7.1 system, unfortunately that's not possible. It will only be the 2 on the soundbar and the subwoofer. But for what it is very, very good. This soundbar is going to really level up your TV experience, and if you're going from just your normal TV speakers, it is going to blow your mind, the transformation in the sound. I genuinely think that this could be the best soundbar under £200. Well, maybe you've already decided on a soundbar and you're looking for a TV. Well, click this video here to have a look at some of the reviews that I've done on other TVs, and please, if you've got this far, why not subscribe? And I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!